Hey guys, welcome to the review show. My name's Austin, and we just did our top 10 best movies of 2023. Now we're going to talk about the top 10 worst movies of 2023. There were a lot of great films that came out this year, but there were also a lot of fucking terrible films. Terrible films that I put myself through and watched multiple times for a review. And my top 10 best list video, I had a couple of honorable mentions. I have a couple of here too that I'm just going to list off very quickly. No need to talk about them. I do have reviews on the channel if you guys want to go check those out. This ain't going to be reviews on these films, but I am going to talk about them slightly. But yeah, these are terrible movies. And some people actually really like these movies, but I thought these were terrible. So let's get into it. House Party, congrats! You fucking sucked. Fear. Was there really anything to be scary about this movie? Not really. Like, no, very forgettable to be honest. Murder Mystery 2, fucking jeez. I didn't even like the fucking first one, and I put myself through the second one. Oh, that was a fucking terrible movie. Not funny. Adam Sandler wasn't funny. Nothing was funny. Everything was predictable. Terrible movie all around. Paint. Who knew that a rip-off movie about Bob Ross would be terrible? I thought everyone was fucking no likable characters in this movie, to be honest. Everything was just bad. The last movie to mention in our honorable mention of worst movies is Winnie the Pooh and Blood Honey, whatever shit show that fucking was. What the fuck? And somehow getting a fucking sequel. I didn't find this movie fun at all. A movie that was actually on my top 10 list. A lot of these movies were actually on my top 10 list, but nothing's worse than these actually. I found actually hating the movies that are on this 10 list way worse than this. What can be worse than the movies that I mentioned? Well,
Number 10.
Starting at number 10, Five Nights at Freddy's. And you know what? This is where people are going to start clicking off. Because, there's people leaving this movie out of their top 10 lists because, yeah, I didn't really like that film that much, but for the fans, they understand, I'll just be nice for them. Fuck being nice. Fuck this movie. I don't give a shit if this movie is, if the games were messy in the lore like this movie. It's still a fucking mess. Every movie that's on this fucking list is a mess. That's not mean, so I'm not going to exclude this movie from being terrible because it's messy in the lore. It might have been messy in the video games, but at least the lore was fucking cool and you understood it. Here it's just like character there for plot reasons, I don't know, and not being scary. And it's like this movie was everything that I didn't want in a horror film, especially in a FNAF movie, when I could have just watched the Nicolas Cage movie.
Number 9.
Number 9, Retribution. Does anyone remember this movie? Because I don't. I actually forgot about this movie when I was making my list. I guess oh yeah, I did watch that. When did that come out? September-ish? I don't know. It's been a bit since I've watched that fucking movie. It was fucking terrible. Yeah, Liam Neeson's still trying to be Liam Neeson, I guess. He was really fuck.
Number 8.
Marlowe, another Liam Neeson movie. The last Liam Neeson movie to be on this movie list, to be honest. But it's very rare to have two Liam Neeson movies that are just that bad on the top 10 list of the worst movies of all year. And being back to back, to be honest, this movie was just boring, very forgettable. You didn't care about anyone, and the action, the directing was it's just awful. Like, you can tell that it's some stunt guy or somebody trying to tell you, all right, you gotta do this at this exact moment, or Liam Neeson will break his arm because he's that fucking old and he's trying to pull off some of these stunts.
Number 7.
Number 7, The Child of the Corn, 2023, a remake. And I don't even remember the first one being that good. I don't, what the fuck was this movie? Stephen King's movies suck. Holy fucking shit. I almost put that one that Starter Fire one on my top 10 list, but I kind of actually forgot about it. That I forgot to put it on my top 10 list. But not this year. I'm not forgetting about this fucking movie because this movie fucking sucked. Like, this movie had a lot going for it because it actually didn't start out too bad. I was like, oh, okay, this is actually pretty cool. And next it ends with a fucking big CGI fest. And apparently in the books, it's not even a big corn CGI. It's completely different.
Number 6.
The Old Way. Last year, Nicolas Cage was on my top 10 best movies list. Now he's on my top 10 worst movies list. Mostly not really because of his fault. Really, this movie is just fucking terrible. And it's not that hard to make a Western movie, to be honest. It's probably one of those easy films to make. Like, Westerns are they're pretty easy. But somehow they fucked it up. And I forget the actress's name in this film, but she was in Starterfire. And this year you're on this list because you were just that bad, to be honest. Not trying to trash kid acting, but she was pretty bad in this movie.
Number 5.
Number 5, The Black Demon. Am I the only one that watched this movie? Like, I don't think anyone talked about this movie besides me on YouTube, and I watched this. I thought somehow I think the Meg is a little bit better than this. Well, actually, that's not really shocking. Jason Statham is a pretty badass dude. I would watch him any day over this fucking film. I would watch the Meg 2 over this. Luckily, that I didn't mention that. You know what? That is an honorable mention. That's mentioned. Fuck that movie too.
Number 4.
Expendable 4. Expendables. That's what it's technically called. Expendables. Holy shit, a fucking dumpster fire of a fucking movie. Movies about these, like, badass actors coming together to, just make a fun, dumb movie was just dumb. And not fun. And next, you spent time with characters that you didn't give a shit about and that couldn't fucking act. And while you had Jason Statham over here, giving it his all, and trying to give off a great performance and have a fun time, everyone's like, and and a twist that you saw a mile away, and it's just like terrible fucking CGI. There's been bad CGI for the past, for a bit, especially from Marvel, but holy shit, this was fucking bad. And it's like, I don't know how someone can look at this in the editing room and be like, yep, that looks good.
Number 3.
Detective Knight Independence. This is a movie actually I'm really sad to have on this list. Not because I was looking forward to this movie or anything. Fuck, why would I? This movie looked bad from the trailers anyways. I knew that this movie was going to be bad. But this is Bruce Willis's last movie. And I feel bad having it on this list. It shouldn't be on this list, to be honest. But I'm going to put it on this list because that's how fair I am. Because this movie fucking sucked. The only movie I actually walked out on. I have never walked out on a film, and this is the first one I walked out on. And there was maybe 10 to 15 minutes left of the film. I was like, I can't anymore. I fucking can't. So I walked out on it. Because fuck this movie. There's very noticeable ADR. You can see that they're trying to hide Bruce Willis's stunt double and hide the fact how old he is, so they don't have to show him passing out trying to throw a punch. And he's hardly also in the film. It focuses on 2 other characters, one of them being Bruce Willis's daughter. That's supposed to be a weird twist by the end. I'm like, I fucking knew that was gonna be that's gonna be one of the fucking twists. And you didn't give a shit about any of the characters. They're fucking unlikable, and it's just a terrible fucking movie. Apparently, that is a trilogy. It sounds like a fucking terrible trilogy. A trilogy that I might do a movie commentary on now, thinking about it. That might be a fun one. Who knows? It might be fun to trash on and have more people hate me, because there's people that actually do like this trilogy or this franchise or whatever you want to fucking call it.
Number 2.
Silent Night. How the see, I like John Woo. I think he can be a fun director. Mission Impossible 2, not a great film, but a fun one. Face Off. Does no one know about that film? Great fucking movie. Nicolas Cage, John Travolta. This is the man, John Woo. And actually puts out this fucking garbage. A movie that there's nothing happens for an hour of it. And you're supposed to believe that this regular guy become it's fuck, it's stupid. It's fucking awful, and the action is terrible. It's shot terribly. No one fucking talks in this movie. Like, literally, like, that's the whole premise. So, our guy gets shot, which is his own fucking doing. He gets shot in the throat, which doesn't fucking matter when no one else talks in the movie. This movie was just fucking terrible. It wasn't fun. It was bad. It was awful. And I fucking hated every moment because I wanted to this movie actually almost made me want to walk out. Like, there could have been 2 movies I walked out on, but for some reason I really put myself to suffer through this movie. That's why it deserves this number 2 spot, because I should have walked out on it.
Number 1.
What's the number 1 worst movie of all year? Oh, what could it be? There's so many movies that people thought that was like funny. Like Stray, which is a movie I should have also mentioned. Again, there's a lot of movies that I did not fucking like. We would be here all day if I was trying to mention every single fucking movie that I thought that was fucking terrible. But I only mentioned a couple. But, a little shout out to you, to Will Ferrell. Fucking terrible movie. But what's another comedy movie that everyone liked? And think like, oh, this is the best comedy ever of 2023. Oh, this was funny as hell. It was Joyride. And I'm not talking about the Paul Walker one that came out in 2003, I think. 19-ish, whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm talking about this one that actors I don't remember, characters' names I don't remember, all shits. And nothing but dick jokes. Literally making the most point. Like, literally, this movie has like 100 fucking dick jokes in this. And it's none of them are funny. Not one. Not a single joke in this movie is funny. Because it's all the same fucking joke. Like, oh, are you gonna suck that guy's dick? Huh? And you see how small that guy's dick is? Haha, funny. And it's having a weird TikTok dance moment in the movie that makes no fucking sense. Like, the thing where it says laziness is this movie. Because they try to also get away with, in this movie, where it's like, they try to say, like, this is a new location, but really, they moved, like, 5 foot to a different spot of where they were filming. It's like, all right, now we're in Japan. Really, they're still in Canada, really. They did that with the airport, where it's like, all right, we're going to film on this side of the airport, then we're going to go over here and say, like, okay, now we're in that location, but really we're still in the same airport. We just moved to a different side of it. Like, fuck this movie. Like, fuck it. Like, this is not funny. I was fucking cringing at every fucking moment. I wanted to rip my fucking eyes out because it wasn't funny. Let me know what your guys' thoughts on this list. Let me know your guys' top 10, top 5, whatever list down in the comment section below of movies that you thought that were terrible. We'll have a fun conversation down below. Thank you guys very much for an awesome year. Have a happy holidays and a happy new year. Thank you guys very much for watching. And like always, I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye, guys.